Fans are singing along with Bryson Stock's walk-up music.
Out at home plate, what a play by Hoffman! He got him, and the ball game and the series are over. Home run for Kyle Schwarber. And the Phillies have the National League Championship.
Alrighty, Chasers, welcome back to another edition of the Quit Chasin Podcast. Because much like the Philadelphia Phillies, we're inconsistent as hell and really don't care how that affects our fan base. I'm Alex Kruger. That's Danny Gerb. Danny, what's up, bud?
Nothing. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight, Alex?
I am conflicted. I wrote out this entire agenda 2 days ago because professionals work ahead, okay? They take whatever avenues they can to preemptively do some stuff. And then the Phillies have gone on to do like two really solid wins the last two nights. So normally I might be tempted to throw the entire agenda out the window and try to figure something else out. But you know what, buddy? We've seen this story before. There's no reason to believe that whatever we just went through, we're not liable to still be in or get right back into when the time matters. So instead of being reactionary and saying everything is kosher, everything is copacetic, everything's cool because of two good wins, we're going to talk about what we've been seeing. Okay. Do you have something you want to say?
I do. I like the fact that you brought, we are professionals. And do you know what? Like professionals, we will get to yell, they're back after two Dodgers wins. And we just beat the fish. And we're beating the Nationals right now. And we're back. And I won't apologize for that a week later.
Right there. Right there. That's exactly how we feel about it.
No, that's not, though. That's not. That was just fun. That was fun.
I'm excited for you. Did that feel good?
It felt great, actually.
That's what I love to hear.
So we talked a little bit before we went on, and turns out I'm a big fat liar.
Go on. Why is that?
Well, because I said I was going to be cool for most of the show and not bring stuff up at the top of the show. Here we are.
Do you have anything you want to go off your chest?
Later. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I want it brewing.
Is there some stuff has you amped up, perhaps?
Yeah.
Well, good, because save on to that, because we've got a lot of stuff to get through. In fact, first we're going to start, folks, with the week that was. Weeks that were, really, because it's been 2 weeks since we've seen you. So in the interest of letting those fans that kind of follow the Phils through us, we are going to recap a little bit harder what we've seen. So first up, we have the Seattle Mariners series. So the Seattle Mariners won that series 1-2. They outscored us 16-13 runs. So by 3 runs. Rookie Tyler Phillips had his welcome to the MLB moment, getting shelled by the Mariners. Our new closer was brought in for a second inning and got a loss in the 10th. And then Wheeler looked great, allowing no runs in our lone win. We were outscored 16-13 and did nothing to make us believe that they had turned a corner. Little did we know the level of schadenfreude that was ahead of us, because next up we had the Dodgers series, okay? And we won the Dodgers series 2-1. We outscored them 18-17, so +7. All right. Nola's going through his bust era as opposed to his boom era, and we let Tyler Glasnow get a win. Now, the Phillies are starting to show something in this series as they rip off the next 2 wins, including one against Clayton Kershaw, who is easing back into the rotation. A lot of folks, podcasts, pundits, and fans were proclaiming the team was back and the worst was over. They actually believed that they were asking the hard questions. And this team was not last year's Eagles. But you know what? It wasn't enough. And it's time for everyone to panic. We beat an overrated team. And I know that because it takes one to know one. And that brings us to the Arizona series. Needless to say, wait, I went to the wrong page. Arizona series. I know, right? We lost that series. Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
I get it. You have PTSD from that series. So do I. So, of course, you're going to skip over and go to the next page, right? So, you'll get to it. But the PTSD, man, if I watch one more Diamondback be patient at the plate, get to first, go to first to third on a bank single, have that guy still second, go second to home on a consecutive bank single, Now all of a sudden you're down a couple runs, and then the text I got from you in the bottom of the fourth, they're like, we're gonna watch 21 Phil's batters just go up there, swing. We're gonna watch 21 strikeouts, and that's exactly it. And if I watch that one more time, my head's gonna explode, dude.
So here's the thing.
I skip that page.
No, I'm going to go through it because I listen to a lot of Fransky as opposed to watching this horrible product. And here's the thing. You want to know how to beat us in the playoffs? Have Josh Peterson hit right before Josh Bell. Have that happen in the playoffs. We will lose every single time. Those are two 100% Philly killers, right one after another, for a team that mentally owns us, okay? The team that we would never lose to, the squad we couldn't possibly lose to in the playoffs, the team that could never win 2 straight in our house with our backs against the wall, the snakes in the grass. The drummer from Jimmy Eat World's proudest moment since Chase This Light was sampled for the NBA playoffs in 2010. We came into Arizona, and for the second straight time, we played like we didn't belong. We are the Braves to Arizona's Philadelphia. They own us. We are their bitch. And in 7 games this series, we lost the series 4-3. Nola game 11-1, and Sanchez got absolutely rocked by Merrill Kelly, and the man took his name back. Arizona owns us, and I saw no fight from this team. I saw no fight whatsoever in a series we absolutely had to put our name on it, and that's what bothers me the absolute most. Danny, what else do you want to add to it?
It's dumb. It's all dumb.
Some high-level analysis there.
Yeah, I know.
That is.
I know, Cotton.
Hold on to your shorts, Danny, because next up we got the Miami Marlins series. All right, we split that one 1-1. We were outscored by them 9-10, but we dropped the opener yet again to the lowest of the lows. The Marlins. Jake Berger made a snack of our pitching as he did his best Josh Bell impression and made game 1 over at 3-0 when the final score was 5-0. The team, Schwarber, they all said no reason for a team meeting. Even the overpriced shortstop Trey Turner said when asked if the team needs a players-only meeting, and I quote, "No, just so you guys can write about it and tell everyone that we talked, but no," Turner said. "Those things are for when guys are being lazy. You have a bad culture. You're not working. You're not putting the work in. We don't do those things. We work our asses off. We're in the cage. We're in the field. We're doing all sorts of things. It's just we're playing bad. That's what it comes down to." Well, guess what, folks? Needless to say, the Phillies had a players-only meeting before going out and low-key placing the Marlins on the endangered species list, which as of August 14th, 2024, means they won a game by 4. Like, okay, they didn't need it because that's only for teams that are playing piss poor and not living up to their potential. So they have the meeting, and now they're playing up to their potential? Are you kidding me, guys? What are we doing?
Preach, brother. I would also suggest for a player who's never had a remarkable slump in the majors and comes into Philadelphia and is on a second roller coaster season, and maybe it's a culture thing.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is, because here's the deal, Danny. We got outscored in that entire stretch. We just recapped 67 runs to 54. Or for folks that listen to other podcasts, that's a 13-run differential. Okay. Our record was 5-8 during those 2 weeks. We hoped a West Coast road trip would fix our problems. It didn't. So we hoped a return home would fix our problems. And at first it didn't. We thought everything was back to normal, and it wasn't. And the reason this is so problematic is because now we fans, we're all crossed up. Now, instead of looking forward to the fall, we have to worry about how far into fall we're going to start being forced to bob for answers as to where it all went wrong again. And folks, it's time to stop finding comfort in bullshit numbers when the eye test is all you need. Oh, well, actually the team's batting average is higher in the last 17 and a half days than it's been for any other 17 and a half day stretch since 1914. That's cool. Remember all that bull crap about this being the best Philly start since Panama Jack Brady hit for the cycle in a game before gloves were invented? You can find a stat to comfort you no matter what. That's the downside of relying on statistics. They can be manipulated however you want. There's nothing other than the eye test you needed to see to know that this Phillies team was off. Danny, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. So I reached out to Numbers Guy. What up, Kevin? And I said you got to Phil's take. This was before the first. No, but this was before yesterday, before the second Finns game. Going Finns or fish? What are we doing?
Marlins, Finns. I mean, the Dolphins, Miami
right.
Dolphins. So let's go with Finns just for consistency of the city.
Sure, I'm fine with that. And it's the first time that numbers guy didn't numbers me. And him and I often have, I don't want to say debates, just some talk fills over beers. And I'm always the proponent of the eye test. Like, yeah, dude, that's why he's called numbers guy, right? And he was finally like, not really, they're pissing me off. He was like, their approaches look awful. And we kind of were getting into it. And for the payroll, for the names on the back of these jerseys, they're a good team. We've never not said they were not a good team. They have talent. They have an immense amount of talent. They have an immense amount of player. Man, they are dumb. They are a dumb baseball team. They are. It is a lineup. It's a flawed constructed lineup. We've been saying this now for 2 seasons. And they're dumb. They're just dumb baseball players. You watch that again, that Arizona series, man, the PTSD of that Arizona series where you watch their at-bats, you watch their approaches. And because they have such smarter at-bats and smarter approaches, they own the Philadelphia Phillies. They're playing Dancing on My Own in their stadium. They're trolling stock with AOK. Exactly.
Yep.
Do you know why? Because they're
not
patient at the plate and they have better approaches and they just don't go up there. And, Dombrowski, we don't teach them it's a home run or nothing. Really, man? Because I'm watching. This is my 3rd season of watching home run or nothing.
When they're down, when they're pressing, they forget that you can't hit a 5-run home run. They forget that the best way to beat a team is to manufacture it, to bludgeon them. Because that's what Arizona does to us. They beat us all throughout that lineup, 1 through 9. That's how New York won. New York didn't necessarily win with Judge and Soto. They won with the bottom of the order doing their job so that when Judge and Soto came up, you had no choice but to pitch to them. That's the thing that's been so frustrating about this team. They have looked so small and so feeble. And I looked forward in the beginning of this season when we were really bludgeoning teams and everyone was saying, oh, you haven't played anybody, so don't get so hype. And we all were humble enough to be like, yeah, no, we know it's a long baseball season, but damn it, I did not expect people to be as right as they were, that our candy ass schedule set us up for a false sense of security that we were not necessarily ready for when the bottom came out. Look, I've been the guy that's been proclaiming since day one, I don't want the first round bye. The only way to not get the first round bye is to lose. It just hurts to watch.
You know what, Alex? I'm backing you up with that. And I think anyone who watches this team, and we did that thing like, hey, London, all right, hey, let's watch the All-Star break. We gave it a couple let's see. What's the next hurdle? Let's see. Let's see. And I'm backing you up on that. Listen, as a Homer fan and a Homer whatever that just wants to fellatiate the team all you want, that's fine. Be my guest. But at some point, I don't even know where I was. Yes, I got your back. At some point, you have to say what's the greater good? You want to beat your chest this whole time and be like, yeah, everybody wants a home field advantage and an easier road to the playoffs. There has been suggestion throughout Major League Baseball that it is not the bye. So having a take of this team can't have a bye is a very astute and knowledgeable take, and I have that. And you know what, Alex? You can say it in as many voices as you want, and I'm here for it, buddy.
I love that, Danny. I love that because when you're not worried about whether or not the Phillies are listening to you in the clubhouse, you have the opportunity to hold people accountable in a way that maybe you're afraid to challenge it that way. And I don't know. So here's some folks I want to hold accountable, Danny. I want to know if you have any takes on this. So first off, and again, This is before the last 2 days. I still feel passionate about this. At any moment, we could go cold, and at any moment in a 7-game series, that's not good enough. So, Rob Thompson, look, I've been driving successfully and well for 21 years. But if you put me behind the wheel of a NASCAR vehicle, I'm going to either end up too timid to be problematic, or I'm going to be so out of my depth, I'm going to crash everything. We gave Rob the keys to a race car, but like maybe he isn't actually a race car driver. The things he does with this lineup is so ludicrous. And as everyone points out, we've got the talent on the team. So maybe the crap he does with the lineup is masking, or being masked rather, because of the talent on the team. And maybe like he's not as good as we all think he is at being a tactician and being what you need to be to actually win the last game of the season. He's had 2 pretty deep tries so far and hasn't done it.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Dennett, that ain't worth the velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on. And I totally agree with you. Like there is something there. So Cassie had a nice night tonight, but that whole like,
Cassie
hey,
in
we
the
need
2-hole?
Yeah, hey, we need a change.
Here.
The change is Cassie in the 2-hole. Like,
get out of here.
I mean,
the worst idea ever. That's like letting I don't know Freddy Krueger babysit your kids.
But right, I mean, so yeah, Turner's getting a blow because he's booting the ball around like Pele, so that's great. He needed it.
Pele had control.
Oh yeah. So
no, I'm here
whatever. But like, there is something, like, and it.
You got this.
Quote Mr. Fritz again. You know what I mean? Like we have the joy, or the burden of watching this season through the vein of like what's October gonna do, and is he pulling triggers fast enough? And that's one of the things that if it wasn't the 5-hole in 2022 just killing us.
Casty in the 22, Casty in 22 killed us. Kimbrel in 23 killed us. Trusting guys that should have lost your trust. Like I understand trusting guys, and I understand being so afraid to make a damning choice that you go with what's comfortable. And maybe that's what Rob does. Maybe he's so afraid to be aggressive that he goes with what's comfortable, and maybe that's not what we need sometimes.
It may be there, and I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of that I ride with Philly Rob attitude that's kind of starting to go out the door. I mean, you're getting a little miscommunication. You're getting Schwarber saying like, no need to do anything, no changes. We just need to figure it out. And Top saying 2 minutes later, we're getting close. Also, that's telling there too. We're getting close. Like 9 series, we're getting close.
Or the fact that
9 series to get close.
Amen to that. But the simple fact that if you were to ask me who on the Phillies team deserves the coveted baseball C on their jersey, the captain letter on their jersey, if you were to ask me who I thought as a fan is emblematic of what a captain is, it's Kyle Schwarber. So Kyle Schwarber and Rob Thompson have different talking points for the press, that's not good. Those two should always be like Siskel and Ebert. They need to be together 100%. And the fact that they weren't, I found that troubling. But they had the players only meeting that they didn't need, and things have turned around. But at the same time, there's another person I need to hold accountable, and that's Kevin Long. All right. Of all the youngins he's allegedly unlocked in the last few years, the only one not shitting the bed right now is Alec Boehm. And the city is only still like 50-50 on liking, let alone loving him. So why are our superstars regressing? Why does Trey slump? Can anyone explain why Cassie turned on the heater in May, or why Schwarber is on pace to absolutely crush his batting average? Like, is there any rhyme or reason, or is this just who the hell knows? But let's enjoy it while it happens. This is all lucky, dumb luck. What's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, so they have said, and he has said, that when it comes to the veterans, he's not really a batting coach. He's more of a therapist or, psychologist, which
this isn't necessary roughness.
Right. And
should be, maybe.
To K Long's defense, do you have to tell a Turner, or do you have to tell a Harper that, hey, man, stop expanding the strike zone. Like, do you have to tell these guys this?
Okay.
I mean, apparently you obviously do. You obviously need to beat it into their heads, but should you have to? I guess is the question.
Let's get into that a little bit. Okay. You and I are both from the millennial generation.
They're a dumb team. They're just a dumb-ass team.
But could you argue that if they were being consistently more coached in those fundamentals, in those little things, that maybe they'd be more on top of it? But because the coaching staff takes for granted that these superstars don't need further education, they just stop and they just hope that everything works. Like, are we missing an opportunity to keep them on pace with things? Like, yeah, man, maybe they are professionals. Maybe they hit ball go far, but like, maybe it's okay to remind them of the things you have to do. I don't know. Like, I don't have access. And that's the joy of our show. And that's what we are when you're at the bar talking to your buddies. You don't know things, but you pull it out and you wonder and you think and you hope.
Yeah, we glean from what we can get.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. And the funny thing about all of this is we're ranting and raving for a team that is in the playoffs.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm so sick and tired. No, I don't want to. No, I know we have to
a little bit.
Okay,
we have to a little bit.
Sure. We are 7.5 games up in the NL East. Who gives a shit?
Anymore. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about it, because there is a little something like, hey, let's enjoy the season. Why?
Why? Can't I just be upset right now when they play like absolute shit because the last two postseasons
when they're giving you low effort, dumb baseball? Like, it's low effort, dumb baseball, and it's been low effort, dumb baseball for a month and a half, and that's a flaw. And you can call it out, first place or not, like whatever. Like, my goal isn't to be like, hey, they're a good team. They got to 70 wins this, faster at the point of the season than they have in the last 10 years. That's great, awesome. Let's drop the fastest to 70 wins banner. Like, nobody wants that. That's not what we're celebrating. Like, there is a joy to watching a team rebuild. There is a joy to watching the team make a climb. But when you have made that climb, there's also a joy of them being consistent, playing smart baseball, and being world beaters. And that's not what this team is.
Hasn't been for a while.
We enjoyed the climb. We enjoyed the rebuild. We enjoyed making fun little bits and sayings and trying to like people, like whose jersey am I gonna get? Like, I there was a point in my life that I looked at the staff and was like, I'm gonna go get an Arrieta jersey.
Dude.
Yes, but I'm saying
I thought about a Kingery. There were moments that I considered a Kingery jersey, and I know you're gonna lambaste me for that.
No, it's fine, because
there were moments
we were playing that game.
We were. Like, John Mayberry Jr. I thought he was the next coming, man.
Yeah,
I really did think John Mayberry Jr. was going to be a difference maker. I'm an idiot. I don't know shit, and you can tell that by my John Mayberry take. But still, I love the guy. I do. I love that guy.
What I'm getting at is we had that fandom. It's part of the journey of fandom, and we did that, and it was fun. That's not what this should be. So we can, like, first or not, fastest to 70, like, cool, awesome. Drop that 70 banner. Cool, awesome. You can put it beside the 2023 banner.
It's not a banner. It's just a flag up on a pole.
It is just a flag. It's the We Beat the Braves flag. Like, that's not cutting it for me anymore. I played the fun Arrieta jersey game. I don't want to do that, especially with this team.
How many times have I referenced that my overall fear is this is 2011 part 2? That this is the denouement from our peak of 2022. Lose the World Series, 23 lose the NLCS, 22 lose the NLDS, or 24, whatever we are, lose the NLDS. I don't know. And in 2008, at least we got the championship first. So I'm right there with you, man. I'm terrified that we're heading back to the low. Like, I'm getting PTSD from 2008 to 2011, except this time we didn't get a parade and a ring. Well, we got a ring, but it wasn't a World Series ring. It was an NLCS ring, and that's great. And I don't know. And I'm so tired of talking about this Phillies team. Danny, what do you say we head to a break?
Where'd you get those sneakers?
Nike.com.
They knew, Ma.
They knew. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're going on a break.
There, Chasers. The Quit Chasin Podcast is a proud partner of the Old City Sports Network. Hop over to their website and order some Quit Chasin merchandise. And while you're there, check out some of their shows after you finish with us. 2nd and 15, the Philadelphia Eagles podcast, Flyers Alley, or The Living Room Show. Support those that support us. Speaking of which, the baseball season is winding down. You'll want to experience the game in person before time runs out. With our sponsor, SeatGeek, you can get $20 off on your first order when you use the promo code Old City Sports Network. Don't forget the E at the end of old. Before you head to a game, you want to make sure you're groomed to perfection. Make sure to check out Warlord Beard Essentials. And while you're there, use promo code OLDSPORTS in all caps and get 15% off and then free shipping on all orders over $65. Lastly, Chasers, I highly recommend you check out Righteous Felon Jerky Cartel. Head to the Righteous Felon Jerky Cartel site and use code OCSN, all lowercase, and get 15% off of your order, plus free shipping on orders over $50. It's so simple, a Mets fan could almost do it. Almost.
That's right, they could.
Maybe. On a good day. If they've had their Ritalin. So, Danny, before we get into our systematic bits, of which we have deleted media stables, don't forget, let's take a break. All right, let's go through a little bit of an evergreen status. And let me ask you, as painful as the last 2 weeks have been as a Phillies fan, we have found ways to otherwise entertain ourselves. And I'm curious, what have you been up to while avoiding watching the Phillies?
You know, every 4 years, just like the true American that I am, I get real into the Olympics.
Ooh,
and
talk to me.
I got real into the Olympics. I mean, I love it. Obviously, I say obviously, like everyone feels this way, but they don't. I am a much bigger Summer Games fan than the Winter Games fan. You know, just it's sports. I know I was a swimmer back in the day, so absolutely, you know. Swimming is one of the fan favorites. You know, I think swimming and gymnastics are the big ones, but
I would argue, yeah, in the summer. I mean, there was a time when track and field was there, but I think Michael Phelps, followed by Katie Ledecky, took swimming to that next echelon, and that is swimming and then gymnastics, because we've always kind of crushed it in gymnastics the last 20 plus years. So those two, yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, so it was the Olympics for me. I thought this year's games were equally as great. The Noah Lyles getting the just inching out for the fastest man title. The torso, not the foot or the head or whatever it was. That awesome. Him getting a case of COVID and being replaced from the relay. At hurt, there was a chance for the U.S. to get on the podium in the first time in 20 years, and they DQ'd once again. So that's a streak that needs to end. But yeah, I thought they were an absolute fantastic game. There were some new names into the swimming world. Leon Marchand from France, like that, using Michael Phelps' trainer, they're friends. I expect him to tear it up 4 years from now too. That's going to be fun to watch. Ireland with their first swimming medal, like there was stuff going on. There was, the men's relay not taking gold for the first time in a moonshot. Who knows? For
whatever reason, our men's team is terrible at the relay. I don't know if you've looked up the history of the men's relay, but for whatever reason, the exchange on the baton, we have had issues with that for a while now.
Oh, I meant the swimming relay, but yes, yeah. The like 4 DQs in a row, something like that. Yeah,
for sure.
But I thought they were fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
I love it. So I, all due respect, should have watched NFL or NBC Gold Zone or whatever it was called. I did not watch more than 7 minutes of Olympic coverage, and the 7 minutes I watched was basketball, because I do love Team USA basketball. And I feel bad, but I think, and here's the crazy thing. I think I was so disappointed and I was so crushed by the Phillies and that level of sports that I couldn't even take solace in the Olympics, because I just wanted to be stuck in my ick with the Phillies, and I didn't even want to celebrate. I know. It was rough. It was rough, real nasty stuff. But thank God in 2028 we're gonna have baseball in the Olympics, whatever that looks like.
Yes, we are. Whatever that looks like. And you know what? We'll get to it because I have a take on that.
I'm sure you do. So
what were you doing?
What was I doing? So so Audrey we had her 10th birthday, so there was a sleepover at the house. So we did.
Oh my
God, it was so much fun. It was the girls had like a spa night and all that jazz. Let me tell you, fun fact. I did not anticipate this whatsoever, but current 10-year-olds are totally down with the Lindsay Lohan version of The Parent Trap. And that surprised the hell out of me.
What?
Man. So here's my theory. Here's my theory. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm all ears.
When they're at camp, okay, and Hallie shows her sister, or the other way around, the Oreos with peanut butter trick. When a kid sees an Oreo mixed with peanut butter for the first time, they're like, "This is the greatest invention since sliced bread," and they're just instantly hooked into whatever the hell happens next. And honestly. The Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap is phenomenal. It is a great piece of cinema. I will fight anyone to the death of that. So, yeah, dude, I was really amazed that these girls thoroughly enjoyed that. I've been enjoying Prestige TV. So a lot of great things have dropped. Cobra Kai's final season, the first of 3 trimesters of episodes have came out. So that was exciting. We have The Umbrella Academy, which just finished up, which if people out there have not checked out The Umbrella Academy, if you like weird sci-fi and superheroes, check it out. It is so cool and so enjoyable. And it's based off of comic books written by the lead singer and songwriter of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way. So highly recommend check it out. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
So they're not okay? They're good?
Who's good?
The Umbrella Academy. It's not okay.
I feel like that's a My Chemical Romance reference, and I only know the Black Parade.
It's not okay. Well, that's not okay.
Wow, the Black Parade is a phenomenal song.
It is a phenomenal song, but you didn't know more My Chem than that.
So everyone has a meter of how much emo they can handle in their musical repertoire before people start to get worried about them. And I couldn't add My Chemical Romance because I already had Rehab. I already had Say Anything. I already had Saves the Day. Like I had enough whiny white boy music that I couldn't add My Chemical Romance at that time. So it didn't make the cut. But that song, because it's so good, found a way through.
You're missing out.
I know I am.
South Jersey's own, man. They came through the fire. Jersey? Yeah, they used to play the fire regularly.
No kidding.
They even last time they were in Philly, they were at the Wells Fargo. They even gave the fire a shout out. I love that little bar.
Oh man! All right, I you know what, Danny?
No,
there might be an opportunity in the future for you to really recommend I listen to a full My Chemical Romance album. Maybe, but that's not
might be sooner than we thought.
Who the hell knows? We'll see what happens next week.
At this point, right?
At this point, I'll tell you what, there were at least 4 different moments in the past week where I thought about texting you like, so what album are we doing?
Yeah, dude.
Let's just do it. Let's just make that switch up.
So apparently you dropped out, and Dave asked me, he's like, hey, what had you guys cracking up? What did Alex say? And I was like, nothing.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's do this.
He said, album swap.
And what is album swap, Danny?
Well, we don't really know. It might not even be album swap, but when the Phillies inevitably break our heart, and we are not going to want to talk about them and find some hot stove issue like, hey, did you know their big acquisition was another platoon left fielder? And we're going to be like, cool, awesome. By the way, he's on the IL. And we're going to be like, oh, even cooler, awesome, yay.
We're not going to do that. Whit Merrifielding.
We got Whit Merrifield. We're not going to do that in February and March and January and December. I am on holiday.
It's too much to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brutal and absolutely brutal. So we are going to deep dive albums.
We are. So Danny and I have a massive love of music. Danny has a much wider collection of music knowledge than I do. I stick in a very small lane, but a good lane. So, we are going to take turns, recommend albums that the both of us listen to, do a deep dive on, and then do an episode of. Currently titled Album Swap, but I imagine there's a bunch of podcasts called Album Swap. So we're going to come up with something a little bit more singular and unique in the coming future. But I'm excited for that. That I think was done by Chappelle's Show and then Fox.
What the hell's a Renee Zellweger?
That's such a good reference.
Yeah, right. I know.
That's well played. That's well played. So all right, Danny. We teased last week. Speaking of things that we're teasing with Album Swap or whatever the hell it's going to be called.
Poop series. Love it or hate it.
You know what, Danny? I love it. So we talked about the text thread, and I'm going to talk for about 30 seconds so that you can get your hands ready for the technology aspect of this. But we wanted to talk about some seminal moments in the weeks that were in which Danny and I texted each other about the Philadelphia Phillies. So let's pull up one of those infamous texts now. This is a text between Danny and myself. Danny said, "Here's a real question. Are the Phillies cooked or do the Diamondbacks just own them?" I said, "I truly do believe the Backs own them, yes, but the Phils might be cooked too. Next few series will answer that." That's when Danny had an idea. He said, "I guess both can be true. Want to poll it? Phils cooked? D-backs own them? Both? Rough road trip? They'll beat them when it matters?" I liked it. I said, "I can pull that shit real quick. 4 options, I believe." Danny said, "Yeah, why not get a feel? Or is it Bush?" I said, "It's our truth, whatever it is." He said,
right,
"Yeah,
it is."
It is. He said, "Yeah, I guess." And then I said, "Holy shit, the Phils broke Chris." Danny said, "Really?" I said, "He voted both." Danny said, "Whoa, they did." I said, "This is the first he has ever waned." Well, I said waned, but it auto-corrected apparently to waved. I said, yeah, well, I'm shook. Chris Ferry, friend of the show, he's been on twice, more than anyone else, has been one of the most ardent supporters of the Philadelphia Phillies. And he voted both the Phillies are cooked and Arizona owns us. And while I agree with him, it shook me to my core that that's where Chris had gotten to.
I'm absolutely right there with you. And like that phrase, the Phils broke Chris, has cracked me up for days on end.
Because for them to break Chris, that's an accomplishment. Breaking us, we're both pretty high emotional guys that are very quick to nihilism. Chris has attitude and hope and optimism for days, and that's why we adore Chris. And like he's as much as I railed on people finding good luck stats, I've thoroughly enjoyed Chris sending me stats the last few days of like, here's why you should like grab yourself off the bridge. Like it's going to be okay. And I love him for that. That's his optimism. But when they broke him, I was like, okay, this is a real problem now.
We didn't know what to do. I think our conversation stalled. We were just kind of like, but he's our true north. Man.
He's like, our true north, man. If he is not believing anymore, then what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Every time we have him on, we're always pushing him to dump. Come on, man. Like, come on over to the negative party. You're gonna love it. It's fun.
He never does it. He never moves that way.
Does it.
No, he's a good dude. He believes, and that's why I love it. His endless optimism gives me hope. He gives me hope when I need it. And the fact that they broke him for a hot second. I don't think I bet you if we ask Chris right now, and Chris, I want you to comment on whatever, Facebook, X, whomever, and let us know. But I think Chris believes again, and that's what I need. Because when people believe in magic, the world is a magical place.
The phrase the Phils broke Chris may just be funny to us, but my goodness, it has gotten me through this week. I have chuckled at that at random times throughout the week.
There's an argument to be made that maybe that actually should be the episode title.
Oh, all right, maybe.
And maybe the text thread is the album art. There's an argument to be made.
There is. We'll
talk offline. In 15 minutes. So, all right. So that leads us to the only real, the second to last segment of the show, which is Amped Up. Danny, I think both of us could go first or could go second. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? What are you feeling in this moment?
I don't care.
All right, so, folks, I'm going to let Danny go first, but to set him up, I'm going to remind you that previously we had talked about the Olympic Games and the fact that they are coming to America in 2028. And that should be enough, Danny, to set you up for what you want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. I'm amped up that the two things about the Olympics, because I really enjoyed this year's games. Number one, let's go positive first, right? Baseball's back. And right, exactly. And it's great. And I think it's, we both thoroughly enjoyed the World Baseball Classic. I think it's going to have that feel to it again. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be fun. It's in the US. They're coming to America. All the fun stuff. I have a feeling though, like I doubt we're gonna see the big boys. MLB is not suspending. They're not suspending a schedule. They're not shortening a schedule. Maybe they work something out with the Players Association that like you can part if you want to, and maybe, but I doubt we see any of the big boys. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some sort of like minor thing, and this is where a guy, I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Oh snap!
Where Kingery, a guy like Scott Kingery, can get his flowers. Like I'm done with that experiment.
Garrett Stubbs playing for Team Israel.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Sure. Again, I don't know what. Listen, we're gonna see what gets agreed upon, who ends up going, but like some of those guys that are like tooling around in the minors or tooling around in the independents that were fan favorites, that have talent that you would like to see, that just didn't weren't a fit for the team or it didn't work out, like Kingery or something like that, where like watching a guy like him stand on a podium and getting a medal of any color would, be his World Series and my World Series for him. And I think guys like that would be able to field a competitive team. I think, all that. I think it would be good for the sport. I would ultimately love to see the big boys, but I get all the muck and mire that may go along with that.
So I get that. And I think that expanding the international game is 100% on MLB's mindset. Now, granted, they kind of suck at doing it. I was talking to a friend tonight, actually, that was at the London series and talked about the amazing stuff that was happening every day before the games in the squares and like all the pageantry and all the celebration that was going on. And I told him how back here in the States, we were watching and we were presented with empty shots of New York Yankee Stadium, as opposed to what was happening in London, and how, America has consistently kind of shit the bed game. And it's just, it's wild. And I want them to allow the players to play, like suspend the game, suspend the season for what would it be? 2-3 weeks? Is it really that much? Like, I don't know. That's just me. I would love to see the best of the best in the Olympics facing off against each other. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Isn't that what made the World Baseball Classic so electric? Shohei Ohtani versus Trey Turner? Like, who doesn't sign up to see that?
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, you go to John Boy, go to John Boy's page. His pinned cover video is the Ohtani Trout matchup. Like, still that, like,
so
all this stuff that he has, break down and shown, that is still up there. Because exactly right.
It was a top 5 moment in baseball in the last 20 years. It was so good. So good. That's a good amped up, Danny. I like that.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So you want to know what's got me amped up?
Well, I had a second half to it, the negative half.
Oh, please. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Portnoy, El Presidente, El Ducerino, El whatever I said the last time I brought him up. All those names still go. His un-American, anti-patriotic rant where he was hoping the Swedes beat Team USA in men's basketball and then wanted France throughout Team USA in basketball in the gold medal game because of them benching Jason Tatum. And like, dude, it's the United States of America in the Olympic Games, man. The Paris 2024 Summer Games. Like, put your weirdo Boston Celtics cronyism aside for 1 second and don't put man over country for the second, third, probably fourth time in your life, jabroni. And be an American for a change. Just be a patriotic American and root on Team USA, even if your Celtics crony is riding the bench. It's a lame take. It is awful. Just an awful take. And credit to Jason Tatum, who was seeing these posts, because Mr. Page Views wasn't the only one. It was a bunch of Boston knuckle draggers. Sure. Yeah. Bostonian knuckle draggers, whatever. He started responding to the comments with a picture of him standing on the podium with his medal on and his hand over his heart. That has been his retort to these knuckle draggers. And Mr. Tatum, I salute you and congratulations on your gold medal. Team USA, you did a heck of a job.
Amen. All right. All the flowers to Tatum.
All yours, my man.
All right. So, folks, here's what's got me amped up. I had talked earlier about Prestige TV that I've been watching, and there was one specific title that just wrapped up that I did not mention. And if you are even a 10% level of cool, you would be like, hey, man, how come you didn't talk about House of the Dragon? Because I was saving House of the Dragon for amped up.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is. He's back to amped up. So here's what's got me amped up about House of the Dragon. Okay, folks, I get it. You wanted a big ass spectacle with dragons. You wanted all the CGI. You wanted all of the fire and blood and brimstone. I get it. But here's what makes Game of Thrones.
We do the voices.
Good. We do the voices, and we do
the voices.
We do them better than anybody else, Danny. But here's the thing about Game of Thrones. Lord Tyrion said it best in the primary show. It's at its best when it's intelligent people having conversations in beautiful rooms. There is so much subtlety and so much nuance happening in every episode, in every moment of Game of Thrones. And sure, not every second is filled up with a dragon battle, but maybe grab some culture. Maybe realize it's not all just a wrestling world and there is actually some story to be told. No offense, Danny. That's my problem with House of the Dragon. Everyone knows the story. It's okay that they spent an entire season building up to war. Enjoy the ride. You can't have it both ways. You can't bitch about the time jumps in season 1 and then be upset that it went too slow in season 2. Make up your mind. Season 3 and season 4 are going to be bangers. We know the story that's coming. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and remember, everything that you know was told by unreliable narrators. So what you're about to see is actual canon. So shut up and enjoy. That's what's got me amped up.
The pizzas are coming.
Pizza the Hut, man. Whew.
I guess I get you. Did you ever see that episode?
No.
South Park where they go to the Thrones guy's house.
So right around, I think when Chef died is when I didn't, for whatever, like I didn't have cable, I didn't have Comedy Central, whatever. So I stopped watching South Park. So I don't know. Is that like
so the only thing
13 maybe?
I only know Game of Thrones through South Park, and it's
I get that.
Because the guy who wrote it, I guess he was teasing the dragons and they weren't coming.
Okay.
For a while, like in the storyline, I don't know. So they were making fun of it where he ordered pizzas, but like the kids started to die and he just kept on being like, no, the pizzas are coming. They're coming.
Okay.
As the kids were dying, it was kind of funny. I have another Game of Thrones story. I got to it. And I got to, this is how little I think of it.
Oh shit. All right. Let's have this conversation, Danny.
I met this insanely gorgeous woman and she had a very high powered job. We dated briefly. It did not work out. But initial talking to her, I'm like, the doubt that men have in the back of their heads. I was like, this woman is out of my league. And then she mentioned that she watched Game of Thrones. And then I was just like, nope, no, she's not. It gave me all the confidence in the world.
Wow. So here's the deal, buddy. Here's the deal. I lived your hipster ass admitted energy for so long when it came to Game of Thrones. Okay, you self-made hipster. Okay, you are everything that Max Bemis spoke of in Admit It when you talk about Game of Thrones, and you know it. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. But when I did sit down, and I did give it a chance. It's a phenomenal world that George R.R. Martin, super nerd. Like, you have to be an upper echelon, super omega level nerd to create that level of world. Like him, Tolkien, George Lucas to an extent. The worlds that they've created, you could argue Stan Lee, are so intense and intricate that you have to be a certain level of nerd to be able to pull that off, because you couldn't have a social life through many of your formative years to be able to create an elven language. I would have to assume, right? So I get your point.
I just don't know, man.
I get your point about how it can be nerdy, but the ability to escape into a fully shaped, fantastical world is a good time. And for someone that is so in love with, is it Nancy Myers or Stephanie Myers? I always forget.
Stephanie. Put some respect on her name. Come on.
First off, Nancy Myers is the lady that brought us When Harry Met Sally, as well as You've Got Mail. So I could argue she's more important than your Myers. So put some respect on that name. Anyways, the Twilight world is cool, but I would argue the Game of Thrones world is better.
That's fine. Listen, man, art is art, storytelling is storytelling. People are attracted and gravitate to whatever they like about art and stories and whatever, and that's fine. Yeah, maybe one day, but it's not on the list. It's not on any sort of, I got to get to that.
Fine. Well, watch the Umbrella Academy at least, and we'll be all right.
Yes, you and everyone else is talking about that.
If everyone else is telling you that, then maybe they're onto something, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, speaking of loving things and hating things.
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. So love it or hate it, Danny.
The poop series.
I hate you so much. I knew it. God damn it. That was my line last week. So
we both did it. It can die now.
Sure thing. You're right. Folks.
Let's see what happens.
As you know, we are in our freshman year of podcasting as Phillies fans. And the one thing that has struck me as impressive with the
was touching her face.
Dude, they were only freshmen. Verb. Anyways, the one thing that I do find impressive is all of these other entities that do podcasts, and they put out shows during the lean time. So like Jack Fritz and the High Hope Gang that put out shows during the years in which Cesar Hernandez had our best batting average. Like, God love you guys, man. Like I honest to God do not know how you have done it for so long. So Danny, with that being said, and
hold on, if we're giving out flowers, we got to give out flowers to friend of the show, Michael Roscoe, on our very own network on the Old City Sports Network. Yeah, man, second and 15
for sure.
The Eagles spot. Homeboy finishes his season 1 finale. Back next week with season 2. Homeboy just plows through the off season. He does it with such ease. Like Michael Roscoe, we see you, man, and
love it. Love Michael Roscoe.
Can't do it. We can't do it.
Like, so here's the thing. Like, so I feel great because I'm a fundraiser for a nonprofit, and like that's a really noble thing. But Michael Roscoe is a teacher with special needs kids, and that's better. Like, he's a better person. Not all right. So that's
a better person, better podcaster.
Well, all right, that's just hurtful. But like, he's a great guy in a job that's really important, and then puts out so much content. That's impressive as hell. It really is.
Yeah. In an off season, we tried to do 2 weeks, 3 weeks of spring training.
We got so bored, and now we're talking about making new walk-up music just to fill time.
Yeah. Men on the field, like baseball players on the diamond, hitting balls, catching balls, and we were like, this is brutal. So, like, hats off to you, my man.
Especially
we saw it. We noticed.
Like 2nd and 15, even at this point in the year, it's still engaging. It's still entertaining. I still enjoy the conversation that he's having. Like, dude, great job, man. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So Danny, love it or hate it doing a Phillies podcast. What I think I love it because it's forcing me to pay attention and not give up in moments of like Mother Mary let him be, like moments of trouble. But I kind of hate having to talk about the Phillies when I'm really pissed off about them because I just want to say so many mean things. I just want to say so many mean, irrational, hot takey things. And I feel like I shouldn't do that. So I love it and I hate it. It's a cop out.
I love it. And I'm with you. I love, bad takes, hot takes. Like, here's the thing about our takes, and when we're mad at them and yelling and screaming at them, we do it with the caveat of prove me wrong. We want to be proven wrong. Like,
you're begging to be proven wrong. I want to eat all the crow because I just want Broad Street, man. I don't give a shit what we have to do to get there, dude. I will eat every ounce of crow. I will tell you that I'm a big diaper wearing dumbass if I get to parade down Broad Street. That's all I want. Do that, please.
Yeah, that's what we want. So that's where the passion comes from. And I love it. I love that the fact that it our relationship has grown from it. That's fun. And the chaser community, we love you guys.
Chase Nation, we love you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Came up with that on the spot, and I think it's a keeper.
Oh my god, it's getting worse and worse. But yeah, man, Chase Nation, we love you. And because of that,
I might be done for the episode. That might be it for me.
All right, hey, Chase Nation, thanks. We love it. We love you. We love being wrong.
Danny, who's playing this out this week?
We got Rise and Fall by the Statues of Liberty. All right, everyone. We will do better next week. We promise. Alex is out. Chase Nation, we love you. Everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant.